it's, if you use it as inquiry, it's like, who is actually wanting or thinking you want to work out tomorrow morning? Do you actually make that choice? So in a way, it's a way of going in and in. It's like, who's there? Who's doing that? It seems like you made it, but did you really make it any more than you had a talent for mathematics?
I have something I'd like to ask about. It's a notion that you and others talk about that I am certain that I have always misunderstood, and I even more sure that I misapply. And it's this notion that we don't have any choice. I'm choosing. I'm saying right now. All right, this week I'm going to make sure every single day I work out. So I'm choosing to do that, and then every day, I'm going to put it in my calendar to remind me. And then every day I'm going to make a choice to go to the gym or not. And I'm going to go. And if I do that this week, didn't I do that? Like, why? How is that not? And then what I do, just so you know, what I do that I'm concerned about is I will avoid making that choice because I'll be like, oh, well, I don't have choice. So why should I even, sit here and decide to go work out every day this week? Because I mean, I don't have choice. So why would I make that choice?
The thing is, Elijah, do you remember when we used to talk in the early days, and you'd read so many non-duality books, and you knew all the theories and everything, and I kind of remember telling you to throw them all away.
Yeah.
And I think in some sense you have, but this is an understanding that you can't fake and you can't get intellectually. So in a way, there's no point even trying to get it. I could kind of give an explanation of it that might satisfy you in some way, and I'm willing to do that if that's what's necessary, or if that's what you want. But in general, I would say it's not, if it's not kind of relevant to you now, this is not like you're doing a course and you've got to learn that on choiceless awareness and no choice and non-doer to get past the grade at the end. It's not like that. It's everything opens in its own time, and it's almost like you have to just bow down to the organic nature of it. And so what I'm saying is your wanting to know about it really necessary now? Is it really where you're at? Is it really like a burning question because you're starting to understand it or had insights to it? Or is it just a mental thing? Do you see what? And if it is, then I would suggest, like, don't even think about it.
I'm not as concerned with understanding it. I'm more, I mean, that would be nice, I guess. I mean, like I understand choiceless awareness better after last week's session than I did before, because I had that fundamental misunderstanding that it was
Right.
an
Sure.
awareness that comes without choosing it, rather than an awareness
Yeah.
that doesn't choose what it's aware of. It's like that was an understanding shift that was useful. So there
Okay.
may be something
Yeah.
something to understand here. But more I'm concerned with, I know I misuse it. I use it
Okay.
to avoid making choices in my life. I know I do that, and I don't know how to stop doing that now, because I'm always like, well, I don't know. I think I can make choices. Why are they saying I can't make choices? And it's just, it does get it. It does affect how I function. Boy, I wish I'd never heard it.
I will try and lay it out a little bit. I mean, the basic thing behind all this is understanding the two levels of reality. That's inaccurate, immediately say it, but it still points to something: the absolute level and the relative level. So in the relative level, we have choice. We think we are these people. It feels like we're these people. We've got this past, we've got this life, and you can choose to work out tomorrow morning. So in that world, that is all true. Okay, so obviously it's harder talking about the absolute end of things. So how can I go into this? I mean, basically, it's if you use it as inquiry, it's like who is actually wanting or thinking you want to work out tomorrow morning? Do you actually make that choice? So in a way, it's a way of going in and in. It's like who's there? Who's doing that? It seems like you made it, but did you really make it any more than you had a talent for mathematics? That's the question. I don't want an answer now, but consider that. Use that as a Zen cone, as it were. Find out if there is a difference or isn't there between you being good at mathematics as a God-given gift, God-given, you know what I mean, or you deciding I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Well, my I guess my understanding has been, and it kind of lines up with that, is that I don't have the choice in the sense that everything that has happened in my life is affecting the quote unquote choices I make. So in a sense, I don't have that's the way I think I've understood, is that I don't have a choice because I'm completely run by my conditioning.
Right.
Is so that's, I guess, one of my understandings of that's why I don't have choices, because it's all conditioning. And even if I try to change my conditioning, that's still my conditioning trying to change itself. So there's like no way out. I'm just 100% conditioned. That, I guess, I think that's been my understanding of why I have no choice.
I see. Right. So you're saying if you were outside of your conditioning, beyond personality, you would have choice.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah,
you're
I think
using it.
you have choice. I think you have choice, but I don't.
Okay, but you're using it in a kind of psychological way. You're saying, if someone is run by their strategies and their patterns, then, or their conditioning, then that's true. It's true. That's a kind of no choice. But most people think they do have the choice because they're not aware they're run by those things, right? But you're aware of that. So already you're in a different category, right? But so I hear what you're saying. But I would say even in the moments you have when you're not run by that conditioning, there's no choice. And that's when you're talking about no choice, no doer in the sort of absolute area. So there's kind of levels of it. But I hear what you're saying. They're big expressions, these. And I hear what you're saying, that it helps to kind of understand the different meanings of them or the way they can be interpreted and get clear on that, because that can help you. Yeah,
at least so that I don't misuse them.
Yeah, I mean, you're using it in a certain way. So you say I have choice because maybe I'm not run by as much conditioning as you, but I would still say because of the absolute bit, I don't have choice. But just like you, it seems like I do.
Just a question, Jess and Elijah, because I'm thinking around having no choice about such situation when I'm doing music and I'm improvising with a friend, for example, and then there is there's no choice what to play, because it simply comes in and I don't decide what I want to play. I think, Elisha, you know this also from singing, I assume, that there comes something in where it's nothing about deciding or making a choice, which harmony or which tone you take. It simply comes in, and there is only this way to complete the sound
But would you apply that to you choosing to get up and go to your job or not?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, somehow there's also something like it somehow feels like not. I would say when I, for example, I remember when I got my job that it was something like not I choose it, but the job choose me. I can't explain it, but it was a feeling around. Yeah, that's it for somehow. That's the way. But
Yeah.
because I remember sitting, it was at the beginning after I got this decision that it would take me for my job. I went in a church and I was sitting there, and there was the feeling of, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I remember
But-
this moment, yeah, but I don't know if this something is around no choice. I don't know.
There's a beautiful phrase, and I can't remember where it came from, whether it's Lao Tzu or what. The perfect swimmer rests on the tide. So it's like the tide is the current of your life, and if you fight it, that's doing, and that's struggle, and you might even drown or you'll get tired. But a good swimmer knows how to use the current and not fight it, but go where it takes you and then swim with it. So it just reminded me a bit of that. It does become like a dance, your life, because it on the surface it may look like I want to do that and I'm going to make that happen and then I'll carry that out. So in fact, it becomes more and more like a dance where, how would I say it? Things happen and you more respond to that. So it's like, oh, is that meant to happen? Oh, okay. So now I'll surrender to that and do that. That's kind of resting on the tide rather than pushing the water. That's a kind of expression in the middle of life of the understanding of no choice, really. But it's a very complicated and difficult thing to talk about. It's one of those ones you just can't get over. I mean, either you see it or you don't. And there'll be a time when it will just go, and it's linked with realizing that, okay, you already know you're not your personality, right? That's level one almost. That's the gateway to all of this. But it's kind of sitting behind that. Then there's the self, right? There's the appearance of you as a separate person and the living of that life. But the realization is also, but I'm not that self either. And that leads you to realizing I'm not the doer and I'm not the chooser. So looked at it from here, you're not the doer. But look at it from here, it appears like you are. And me, the balance, as far as I'm concerned, is not pushing either away. Like most people live only in the relative. That absolute perception is just, they don't even know about it. And they think they are this person with these years to live and then they die and blah, blah, blah. Well, on one level, all of that's true, of course. And they think they are in charge of their life. And then there's the perception that that's the way it appears. And they're both kind of true. So to live with the understanding of both is the balance of the absolute and relative. Right, that sounds like a theory or a concept, but that's the easiest way I can say of putting it, really. And do you know what? It doesn't matter whether you get it or not, or it only means anything if that's understanding is kind of opening in you, or something it is happening that's relevant to you in that. So like I said, it's not something you have to get, but in this, one day it will come and you go, oh, that's what it meant. I had many times when I just had of like, that's what they meant. It's this, that's what they were talking about, the Buddha or Osho or whoever. Yeah. But you're getting it for yourself and then it's yours, It's not yours, obviously, but